So I'm starting this new reading log with Yakuza Fiance Reiwa Taninga-e. So I read volume 4, 3, 2, and 1. I wanted to start reading this manga because there's an anime coming out next month, and so I've seen this manga here and there. It seems like a very popular manga, and so I decided to give it a try. So you got this two Yakuza family decided to do an arranged marriage with their grandson named Kirishima and then granddaughter Yoshino. Yoshino is from Osaka, so they decided to send her to Tokyo so that way she can get to know Kirishima. And then the relationship for now is a little bit mutual, friendly, and playful. However, I think she doesn't want to take this relationship seriously, but she wants to do this for the sake of her family. And at the same time, I think for now they're doing this for only a year and just see where everything goes. Now, Kirishima's personality, he's a sadomasochist, and so he does also other things behind the scene, being a yakuza. And then Yoshino, at first she was shy and sort of scared, but eventually like her personality got stronger, and now she wants to play this game with Kirishima because Kirishima, like, he's very playful, like he doesn't take things seriously, but at the same time he does scare, if this makes sense. So his personality, I feel like, is all over the place. Down the line, these two do get along, and then throughout the story there's some mystery here and there. It's mostly like do with yakuza business, you know, somebody's missing or somebody's murder, and so sometimes it's Kirishima's job to figure out what happened. Aside from their relationship, we also get to meet other characters that's sort of been involved with Kirishima's past life, and then he's involved with this certain girl, and then later on it became a little bit messy, and at the end of the story he has to take care of certain situation, and he's trying to make a bet with Yoshino that if I take care of this now, if I come out alive, like, he wants to marry her maybe until they turn 18, or, you know, make this relationship very seriously by being a boyfriend and girlfriend. But then she doesn't really take him so seriously because he's very playful and he could be lying, and so he decided to just go with it because Kirishima like always tell Yoshino that he really loves her, but then Yoshino's like, yeah, no way. Anyway, and so since that bet, we will see if, you know, if they do take this relationship to the next step. And so overall, I like the story. It's not bad so far. I just find it a little bit all over the place, but other than that, it's quite funny. I like Yoshino's Kirishima's mutual friendship for now, because Yoshino is always gets so angry at him because he's just so playful. But yeah, other than that, yeah, looking forward to read more of Yakuza Fiance. Also, so this is Kirishima and this is Soma. Soma is like an adopted brother in Yoshino's family side, and so these two don't really get along because you can tell that they do really care for Yoshino, and so they're always there for her. Like, oh my god, Yoshino, let's just say you're a very lucky girl, if that makes sense. And so gonna give you guys some insight. This is volume 4, but the illustration's really a little bit different from other anime, but I really like it. From other manga, I'm sorry. Yeah, I really like it. Yeah, the story is not bad. Again, I didn't expect anything. I just, oh my god, I mean, okay, moving on. Anyway, yeah, so really good, not bad. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted, but anyway, yeah. So as of today, Jujutsu Kaisen is over, unfortunately, yes. And so after the Shibuya arc anime, I started reading the manga, and after the Shibuya arc, you got the Calling Game arc, which was arranged by Getho, who is controlled by Kenjaku. There was like this big dome shield around Shibuya, and then during this game, it's based on points. The more points you earn, you're supposed to stay alive, and if you have less points, you likely to die. And then during this game, you had like past cursed spirits reincarnated, as well as other sorcerers, and so you're gonna meet a lot of like new characters that you probably never heard before. And so this game was kind of interesting. It's just a big fight between, you know, sorcerer versus sorcerers and even other cursed spirits, and it's been a while I read this. It's probably like since April or March. I started reading the manga around that time. I even stopped collecting the manga because the online was way ahead. I think one of the biggest thing that I remember from the story was Maki. Maki went crazy. She decided to bring down her clan because it's just full of like BS, I guess. And then unfortunately something happened to her twin sister, and somehow some way she got stronger and she was able to acquire Toji's weapon. Like again, it's been a while I read the Calling Game arc, because throughout this time the fight was mostly focused on Sukuna and other sorcerer, because that fight took so long. Like, it really took so long. Not to mention, like, the chapters took a while to come out because of course the mangaka had to take a break, which is very understanding. Then after the Calling Game arc, Sukuna wanted to transfer his spirit to Megumi because he saw more potential towards him, and so he was able to achieve that. And then, yeah, sadly, like, Megumi wasn't really much around during the story because Sukuna stays Sukuna. And of course, like, all the other sorcerers had to make so much plans just to a way to beat him. And you guys probably know what happened to Gojo and even other characters who sadly didn't make it. And yeah, the fight between Sukuna and other sorcerers just took so long. Like, honestly, I wanted to end it soon because the fight was just endless, because Sukuna is just a very strong core spirit. It was hard for like other sorcerers to beat him, even though they made so much plans. Like, even Yuta had to do something drastically, and I don't know if you guys heard, but maybe I don't want to spoil too much. Even after that, Yuta couldn't even beat him as well, because whatever he did was only temporarily. So at the very end, it was between Itadori and Sukuna, and then Itadori was trying to wake up Megumi. I think it was the only way for Sukuna to really slow down, so that way Megumi can, you know, wake up. Overall, the fight was nice. It was exciting. However, it just felt a little bit drag on. But now it is over. The ending was good. It was a happy ending, even though, you know, there was just some character didn't make it at the very end, but it was still a happy ending, which is nice, you know. There was one character I was surprised because, you know, we thought this person didn't make it, but this person really did make it, and I'm happy. Overall, I like JJK. For me, like, if you don't want to read the manga, just watch the anime, because the anime is good. And if you do want to read the manga and don't want to buy the manga, you can read it online at Shonen Jump. There's a free trial, I think, for 7 days. And I'm not sure how. Oh, there's 271 chapters. If not, the subscription is $2.99 a month. I've been really trying to use Shonen Jump to read other manga because, you know, I gotta take advantage of that subscription. Again, JJK was good. Unfortunately, it ended, but you know what, it was still a good read. I had a fun time, even though, like, when it comes to curse spirits, curse technique, domain expansion, I got really confused. It was hard for me to follow. The action was amazing. Everyone did an amazing job on this story, trying to beat Sukuna, because that just took long. They made a lot of sacrifices, and yeah, I'm just glad that it ended a good note. Now I can't wait to see the next new season of JJK, and of course the manga will be missed. And yeah, I had a fun time, and yeah, oh my god, I just finished reading this BL manga. It was so heartwarming, and it kind of started really sad. So this is called Until I Met My Husband. Now, I did not know until at the very end, this is actually based on a true story by Ryosuke Nanasaki, art by Yoshi Zuki. I think he's also a mangaka, and he writes BL as well. Anywho, Ryosuke, growing up, middle school and elementary, he's been teased being a girl boy because he may sound or look feminine. Until high school, he found friends that he was comfortable with, and then middle school, he did fall in love. That didn't work out. And then high school, he did fall in love. Of course, that didn't work out. And then until college, he realized like he needs to expose himself, maybe meet other gay men, or maybe go on those dating sites. However, one of his classmates that he fell in love decided to live with him, but it didn't work out because he was hurting himself, because he really liked this guy. However, this guy had a girlfriend, and he just didn't like the atmosphere, and so they kind of went on their separate ways. And I think after college, I think that's when he's finally started, you know, going on dates, and he went on dates, but it didn't really work out. And then he did get sort of married, but it wasn't legalized. He was with this person maybe about 2 years until it didn't work out, because at first this boyfriend was kind of controlling, and then later on he realized that he doesn't want to be with men because his friends were teasing him, and that kind of made him kind of fell apart, and so they broke up. After they broke up, he was kind of lost for a bit. Like, he realized maybe I should just start dating, you know, female, but then in the end, like, no, I like men, I am gay. And so he kept going, he went on dates, he met the husband. His name is also Ryosuke. Now, when they met at first, they were already in a relationship, and then after maybe a couple years, they met again, and then they start dating. Now, the writer, the mangaka Ryosuke, he always wants to get married. However, I think 2015, same-sex marriage was not yet legalized until 2021. In Japan, it was finally legalized. Growing up, he had a hard time expressing about him. He had no other connection, you know. It was really hard for him until college. He finally confessed to his two friends who are female, and they were so accepting, and he felt a big sigh of relief. When it was time to get married, he did try telling his mom. At first, his mom was not very accepting and was kind of shocked, until down the line, his parents finally accepted his marriage with his husband, and they were so happy for him. And oh my god, that was so beautiful. Yes, oh my god, this story was just so beautiful, written so well. I feel so much emotion for Ryosuke because he went through so much pain. The fact that he was hiding all this to himself, that he couldn't tell anybody until college. And yeah, really good manga. Oh my god, I definitely recommend this. It's rated mature 15, and so not that much explicit. It's very subtle. Overall, again, it was beautiful, heartwarming, almost made me cry. I'm so glad I read this BL. It's just so beautiful. Definitely recommend this manga. Please go read it. I almost forgot to show you guys the pages. And so now this is a really good quality manga. The pages, paper feels so thick, but yes, again, at first it started sad, and then, you know, until he finally started dating his husband, like, he's finally happy. I mean, of course he was happy with his first boyfriend, but not really, because the first boyfriend was very controlling. And so this was the first time he finally told someone about him being gay, his two friends. This was exciting, and he was so happy to finally let it out, of course. And so this is the first boyfriend, and then we met the husband. His name is also Ryosuke. This is the first time they met, and then after how many years they met again. This was like a some sort of like gathering in the Rainbow Bridge in Japan. They held like a gathering for all the LGBTQ, and then finally, like 2021, the same-sex marriage was finally legalized. This was just like a surprise sort of, you know, hopefully eventually like they'll get married. And of course, Ryosuke proposed to Ryosuke. And so yeah, oh my god, such a cute BL. I love it. And yeah, I really recommend if you guys want to read something heartwarming. Again, started sad, but you know what, it still have a happy ending. And not to mention, this is based on a true story. Like, I never read a manga based on a true story before, and so overall it's just sent a good message to the community. It's such a nice written true story. I totally enjoy it. I can't believe this was based on a true story, and so I'm glad I picked it up. And yeah, such a good story. If you can, please read it. This is a manga that I was super interested because so many has been hyping that anime, and so this one's called Wistoria 1 and Sword. Now it sort of reminds of Mashle / Witch Atelier, because our main character, I think that's his name, yeah, Will, he doesn't have any power, he has no magic, yet he's attending in this magical academy where he's surrounded with a lot of, you know, mages. Well, so his main goal is actually to sit next to his childhood friend to become a magia vendor. Magia vendor, they live in this tower. These mages are like one of the best, and so that is his main goal, to sit next to his friend. It kind of reminds me of Kaiju number 8, where Kafta wants to be in the top next to his childhood friend as well. Now, aside from that, his goal is to earn as much credit, so this way he can get to the tower, as well as becoming the best of the best in his school. And in order to do that, he has to kill monsters in the dungeon using a sword that has power somehow. And so yeah, so far the story is good. I really like it. There's a lot of action. It's just straight to the point. I only read volume 1 so far because the rest of the volume is not yet available for me to borrow, because this is a library manga, of course. And so yeah, big fantasy, a mix of martial and witch atelier. And yeah, the anime is just being hyped this whole time, and so I was very curious of this manga. Can't wait to read more of this manga, looking forward. So here's some insight. So in school, people know that he has no magic, and so he's been treated really bad, and so he doesn't really care. His main focus is just to see his childhood friend and stand next to her, of course. And so yeah, not bad. I like it. Can't wait for more. And really nice illustration. I'm so sorry if the focus is so bad. And these are like so far I think there's 4 magia vendor, the best of the best. There's only 4 left. And so this is the childhood friend named Irarefi, something like that. So I just finished reading Moriarty, the Patriot, volume 1 and 2. This was quite interesting. I really like the story. Now you got these 3 brothers named Albert, Luis, and William. So their main goal of this story is to change the system when it comes to noble and lower class. Now their main target is of course the nobles. They want to get rid of the nobles that deals with crimes, and so it's their job to basically get rid of them. It's still considered crime because they're not detective, they're not police. They're not asked to do this, but they just want to do this for themselves so they can change the system. So far, they target a noble who was not being fair to the landowners, and there was another noble who was kidnapping lower class for his own benefits. So the Murder brothers decided to do something about this because it's just not fair, especially for the lower class. Now Sherlock Holmes is being introduced in volume 2. Now Sherlock Holmes is going to be their biggest enemy because Sherlock Holmes is a detective, and of course he wants to bring down bad people like them. So at the same time, they also want to use Sherlock Holmes so their crimes will be out there. And yeah, they have a lot of goals when it comes to the Moriarty brothers. It sucks that what they're doing is sort of bad and sort of good, and so I'm kind of torn. However, I wish Sherlock Holmes wasn't introduced so early. I kind of want the story to focus more about the brothers and see what they plan to do. So it's going to be interesting how Sherlock Holmes are going to go after them. Now, the guy in the volume 1, that's William, and then the guy in volume 2, that's Sherlock Holmes. They kind of look alike, to be honest. But yeah, I really like the story. I never heard of Moriarty. Maybe they were mentioned in Sherlock Holmes, I just don't remember. It's so ironic because I'm reading another manga called Ran Kamonohashi. I found out recently that our main character Ran, he's half Moriarty and half Holmes, and so yeah, that was quite interesting. And now I'm reading about Moriarty. Again, I never heard of them before. I've seen and watched a lot of Sherlock Holmes movie and show, and so yeah, I'm quite happy I'm reading this because I want to learn more about them. It just sucks that what they're doing is good but at the same time bad, if that makes sense. Now this story, I mean, not that much violence here and there, kind of like very subtle violence. And so here's an insight from the first volume. Now the 2 brothers, William and Louis, they were actually adopted. They were brought because of Albert, because Albert is very sincere and nice to the lower class. Now these 3 brothers, they did something horrible to the rest of the family. I won't say too much, but yeah, it started really good. It was quite interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to read more of this. I'm sort of into this kind of story, a little bit of mystery, somewhat action, but yeah, can't wait to read more. Sorry for the background noise, but I just finished reading Witch Life in a Micro Room. So you got these 2 young witches trying to find a job, but however, it's been difficult for them to find a job because of their rank. So they go to this witch association. It's more like a guild, like those isekai show. And so they go to a witch association to find a job. However, since they're in the C rank, they don't really have much job for them, or they're not very demanding. In other words, like there's no clients that wants them because, you know, they just started. They haven't really made a name for themselves, and so most likely they just accept whatever job is out there. And so the first one in this volume, they had to make a net, a magical net, to capture a big fish with full of mana. And then the second job was actually given to them with this idol who's a very popular witch. However, she was nice, but at the same time she wanted to give them a job so that way they can screw up. Now, these two young witches might be inexperienced and they don't have too much knowledge, but they're very, very clever and determined and very creative. And so with this job, they actually was very successful. Even the client was so happy that the client even want them back, you know, if there's a job comes up. So this idol was very not happy with the turnout. And this idol, her name is Alolela. She actually lived in the same building as these two witches. So they do find out that Alolela do live next door because Marge and her friend was making so much noise. And so she decided to check up her neighbor and kind of like, hey, apologize for making a lot of noise. And as it turned out, when the neighbor opened the door, it was Alolela, and she was completely in shock. She doesn't want them to know she lives next door, but I think she does. She just wanted to keep it a secret. And so the volume ended like that. Marge was surprised. Alolela was kind of shocked. And so, yeah, it's a very cute, you know, witchy story about these two young girls struggling. However, they always find a way to make things work, and that's what I like about this manga. It's all about determination and motivation, and so yeah, it's very also inspirational. So I'm gonna end this reading log with Blue Lock. I read 11, 12, 13. I've been saving reading Blue Lock for quite a while because I need to collect more volumes because Blue Lock gets so intense. At the same time, I wanted to read because the anime comes out tomorrow, which is today when this video comes out. Anyway, 11 to 13, we find out who's going to be competing against U20 Japan, the professional team, because during the story, Ego, he's been like pressured from the supporters and advisors or the head of Japan, like to kind of rush the program. So instead of rushing and ending it quickly, they decided to make a deal that the Blue Lock players will compete against the U20 Japan, because all these advisors and supporters, all they care about is money, 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 of course. And so in these 3 volumes, we get to find out who's the top 11. But before that, they go through a bunch of competition here and there to find out who will represent the top 11. And so now I found out who were the top 11 from the movie Nagi, because at the very end of that movie, there was 2 ending credits. And I was a little bit mad because one of them was a big spoiler. Like, what the heck? I didn't read, or I didn't even think some of the volumes even came out before the movie came out here in America. And so yeah, I was a little bit mad, but whatever. And so yeah, it was really fun. The last 3 volumes I read, super funny, a little bit intense. I feel like it was a little bit like go go go, but not super rushed. Like it kind of balanced and it kind of flowed. Now I found out in this volumes that I read that Kunigami, there was a twist, because in the last season or the movie, we thought he was leaving. We thought he was done for, but apparently not, because I found out that there's actually a wild card. And so yeah, we'll see what will happen to him. Maybe some other players had that option to either leave, or they have that option like a wild card thing or something like that. And so yeah, kind of happy to see that Kunigami might be back. Who knows? Because he's one of my favorite characters. Anyway, this was quite interesting. The last 3 volumes, we get to learn other characters, meet other characters. There's this character named Shido. He's nice, but like he's full of himself. Like he's actually worse than Baru, if that makes sense. And then Shido and Rin had a big fight. It was quite funny yet super intense. So they were separated. Now Shido didn't make in the top 11. Shido was asked by someone to join the U20. And so like, what? However, the U20 team members doesn't like him because he's already causing troubles here and there. And so there was another twist. And yeah, there was like a bunch of twists here in the last 3 volumes that I read, which is like, what? So surprising. But anyway, again, 14, it's gonna start the U20 versus Blue Lock. Hopefully the anime, you know, starts slow before I read the rest of the volume, because if not, that's gonna suck, because I would rather read before I watch the anime, or maybe I'll just wait. I don't know. But yeah, such a great read. I love Blue Lock. It's one of my favorite sports manga. Well, it's the only first sports manga I've read so far, and I really like it. And when you read Blue Lock, it's really best to binge read, because it gets super intense and you just want to know what's gonna happen next. If not, you might get like upset because you want to know who's gonna win, if that makes sense. And so yeah, love reading Blue Lock. Can't wait for the anime and can't wait to read more, because right now in Japan they already have over 30 volumes. Here I think 15 comes out this month, and so they've been good. They've been coming out every other month, but I think there's like a 2-month break, something like that. But yeah, really like Blue Lock. Can't wait to read more. So this week I read a lot of new series, as you can see, and even continue some manga that I haven't read for a while. But yeah, what a good week. I really like what I read this week, especially Yakuza Fiancé was definitely a surprise for me. I've been hesitating to read this manga. I thought maybe it wasn't gonna be in my interest, but yeah, it's not so bad. Until I Met My Husband was very heartwarming, almost made me cry. The story of One and Sword, wow, that was something. I really like it. It's a big fantasy. Now Moriarty, I learned a lot. I didn't know anything about Moriarty until I read this manga, but yeah, I like it because it has a little bit of mystery, and apparently it's gonna connect to Sherlock Holmes. Of course, we got Witch Life in a Micro Room, such a cute witchy story. I like it, very inspirational. And then of course we have Blue Lock last, because the anime comes out today, which is when the video comes out. But yeah, I really like Blue Lock. I always enjoy reading Blue Lock. It's so funny. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.